Hey, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my weekly photo experiences. Camera talks. Talks about cameras that I've actually used and what I think of them, not just reviews on how they work, where the shutter speed dial is, what the specs are. You can get that anywhere. I'm going to talk about cameras I use and the way that I've found them to be with their strengths and their weaknesses. So today's camera has a lot of strengths. This is the Nikon F2A. This is the last camera that Nikon made that had no need for batteries. And there was a battery you could put in the meter, and you could change out different meter heads and have different models of metering. But the point is, it was an all-mechanical camera. And even when the F3 came out, people were a little bit concerned that, will it be as robust? Will it work as well as the F2? If you had to say, what camera do you own that is the one that you've taken out the most, that you feel every time you're working with the king of 35 millimeter, I'd say this F2. It's an F2A, that's the head that it has, and it has the ability to index AI lenses, so it's automatic indexing. You don't need to use the prong on the Nikon lens to index the lens to the meter. Again, I'm shooting all my film cameras with Sunny 16. I'm not using meters. I don't have any batteries in this. So it doesn't really matter what these cameras need for batteries, if you want to use meters, if you want a metered head. I only use a meter for digital, and I really don't use a meter in any of my film cameras. Some of the Leicas don't have meters. Some of the film cameras that are 35 millimeter use mercury batteries that they don't make anymore. So for me, this is the workhorse of a camera. I choose my own exposure. It's pretty much consistent throughout the day. When you work with a film camera, you realize light is pretty much the same every day, and you get really good at starting to read it once you start using Sunny 16. This has great advantages for a big viewfinder that I can see the whole thing with, even with glasses on. And that's a big deal. There are a lot of people who have glasses that fight trying to be able to see through the viewfinder because the glasses get in the way. And this and the F3, both of them are known for having great viewfinders that are big that you can actually see through, even if you have to wear glasses. This one has one major disadvantage. It's heavy. It's well made, but it's heavy. I'm holding it with a 51.2 lens on it, so it makes it really easy to focus. The faster the lens, the brighter it is, and the more shallow the depth of field, so it makes it easier to see when the focus pops into focus. So I can see exactly where the focus is here. But it adds weight. And if you're looking to buy an F2 and you can get a bargain with an f1.4 lens, get it. Because the 1.2 lens is a beautiful, beautiful lens, but it's not terribly sharp at 1.2. It's a really good F2 lens. If you can get an F2 Nikon body with a 50 F2 lens, get it. Because I bet that F2 lens is sharper wide open than this 1.2 is wide open. This makes for a nice quick focus, but you make up for it in weight. And this whole body weighs a lot. So I wouldn't call this the camera I take everywhere, because sometimes the weight is not what I want. I'd rather throw that X100 in my pocket, or one of the cameras I can put in my jeans pocket. But if you had to say what one camera, it's not too expensive, I don't think you'll pay more than a couple of $100 for one of these bodies. And I don't think you'd pay more than $100 for a normal 50 like an F2 or a 1.4. So for very little money in relative terms to what people spend on digital cameras, you can get an F2. And they're workhorses. Get one that's in good condition. Get one that's clean. This one is clean and it's black. They come in silver too. I prefer black, but I didn't choose it. I chose what came up in my circle when it was available at a good price. If you don't need it right now, just be on the lookout. Search your Craigslist. You might find a deal on a body and a lens for $100 or $150. Or they might be willing to go lower because they haven't used it in a while. They don't know if it works. You can check it out. You can test it out. But the F2, I would say, is by far, over any of the other Nikon, it would be my choice for a camera that's all mechanical, solid as a rock. I don't think you can even lose money. You probably can resell it if you didn't use it much. And the only thing I think that would be a deterrent would be the weight. But it's big in my hand. I like the way it feels. It's the kind of camera that makes you feel like you're shooting something serious that you have full control over. And you do. You have full control over shutter speed and aperture. Without a meter, you just set it yourself. Sunny 16 will let you do that. So I'd highly recommend it. This is one of the cameras that's my go-tos when I want to shoot a camera that I want to go out and really watch what I'm doing and take control over it. It's quick. It may not be F100 quick, but it's quick, and I like the ability to wind the film myself instead of having a motor. I like the fact that it has no batteries. I like the fact that it's just their pure mechanical perfection. All right, that's today's photo talk. It's the Nikon F2. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'd be glad to answer anything I can, and definitely highly recommend it. All right, that's today's photography talk. If you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you can support, hit the Patreon, and I'll be back next week. We'll talk more photo gear. As always, here's the good light.